there's a letter for every occasion. So what stationery, inks, papers, etc. would you recommend in situations like these? Number 1, when you're writing to a loved one. Number 2, when you're writing to a close friend. Number 3, when you're writing to your enemy. And number 4, when you're writing to your boss or elders. Okay, so this one was kind of a fun, interesting question. So I just kind of answered, this is obviously just based purely on my own preferences, so take it for what you will. But so writing to a loved one. So I basically said if you've got, I like to have something that's still a nicer presentation. So I would do like a laid paper, like G. Lalo Verge de France, or original Crown Mill classic laid. I would go with one of those probably, or maybe like a cotton paper, like Crown Mill pure cotton. There's other types of cotton, like I think Southworth has cotton crane. Some nice things, maybe with some fibrous texture, just something that's really interesting to hold in the hand and leaves a neat impression. You can get paper that's like decal edge, that's kind of like torn and stuff like that. Really kind of neat. I don't have any decal edge stuff, but stuff like that is really kind of neat. And then for a loved one, I would go with probably like a deep pink or red or purple, somewhere along those lines for my ink choice. And I have a lot of other inks that I'll recommend later in some of the other questions. So I'll withstand from naming 15 different inks right now, but when I'm writing to a close friend, I would go with something a little more conservative, something like Clairefontaine Triomphe, maybe a Rhodia Premium pad, just more of a slick kind of paper, something that might show off the ink a little more. I would go with like a dark or medium blue or whatever ink that I happen to be using that strikes my fancy. If I've got some cool new green that I'm trying out and I want to just, write to a friend or whatever, that's what I'll do. I don't necessarily feel I have to stick to a particular ink for a friend. If you're writing to your enemy, well, I don't really have any enemies especially ones that I would want to write anything to, but you asked hypothetically, so I don't know that the paper really matters. I think the content would matter more whenever you're writing to your enemy, but for the ink, I'm thinking something like a Diamine Matador or a Red Dragon or Oxblood or some like deep, rich red to, to show passion and anger or whatever. I don't know. That's assuming that you're on bad terms with your enemy. That would be an assumption on my part. And if you're writing to your boss or your elders, I would say like a cream-colored plate paper, something pretty plain, doesn't stand out a lot, like a Rhodia Premium or, something like that. You just plain Clairefontaine maybe. And then, maybe you want to do like a printed letterhead on it, something a little more professional. And then go with a dark conservative ink like a black or a blue-black. That's probably what I would say. So those are purely my opinions. Those were kind of out there questions, and I just thought it would be fun to answer those. So.